Persepolis is the story of a childhood graphic novel written by Marjane Satrapi. It recounts her life and experiences growing up in Iran during the Islamic Revolution and the Iran-Iraq War. The story is told through her perspective as the narrator. The story begins with Marjane as a young girl in 1979 during Mohammad Reza Shah's rule. Her family is politically active against the Shah, and she is taught many things about Iran's history and the political aspects of the country. After the Shah is overthrown, a new Islamic regime takes power within Iran. The regime enforces many strict laws, including mandatory veiling for women and girls, which Marjane is none too pleased to obey. The Shah that came before was a military officer who had overthrown the Iranian government during the Constitutional Revolution of 1921. After he gained power, he was renamed Reza Shah and was contacted by the British to give them resources as the new ruler. This would help his aspirations, since he had a dream to make Iran a modern and industrious country. However, after he was promptly kicked out by the British over some political disputes of who he'd ally with, his son, Mohammad Reza Shah, gained power in his stead. During the Shah's reign, he was under much scrutiny and there were many protests against him. Every time that he struck out against the protesters, more and more would come in their wake, until finally he was pressured to release his opposition by the U.S., which spelled his downfall in the coming year. During the release of the Shah's political opposition, she was able to reconnect with some of her family's friends and her uncle whom she revered, Uncle Anush. Him and many other of her family had also been speaking out against rulers, and his exploits in Azerbaijan marked him as a great hero to Marjane. Though this was an unfortunately brief reunion, as after the fall of the Shah in 1980, a new Islamic regime took power and re-imprisoned many of its political opposition and installed many restrictive laws towards the citizens. Marjane is devastated by the sad political oppressions that has befallen her family and witnesses many atrocities as well as the death of her uncle Anush, which affects her profoundly. In the wake of the regime's rise to power, many previous freedoms are oppressed. Western influences are also banned. Marjane and her friends secretly listen to music like punk and heavy metal, wear Western clothing, and buy contraband items, risking severe punishment under the new rule. Within the coming year, war breaks out against Iran and Iraq, as Iraq invades Iran, escalating the country's suffering within and outside of it. Air raids and bombings become a regular part of life for Marjane, and she experiences fear and loss as friends and neighbors are killed around her. Despite all the dangers that Marjane experiences, she still speaks out against the regime's hypocrisy and injustices, especially at school, where she is always put under much scrutiny for her beliefs. Though unfortunately, Marjane's outgoing nature gets the better of her and puts her in more and more danger under the current rule. Her parents fear for her safety. So in 1984, at the age of 14, her parents decide to send her to Austria so that she may be safe for her future Mahjong says a tearful goodbye, knowing she may not see her family or homeland again. Mahjong's experience within the book Persepolis is that of a growing up story and coming to terms with many harsh realities that she finds, and one that we can see through a unique point of view in an uncertain country and time.